All right. Try to remember how Sergeant at Arms goes since I haven't been Sergeant at Arms for several weeks now, but welcome everybody to Toastmasters at 12. I'm Bob, and welcome to our guest evaluators, Jeremy and Andrew. Please join me, first of all, in reading our pledge at the top of your agenda. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. If you are not speaking right away, please remember to mute yourself so we can avoid feedback. And please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Debbie Kerr-Henry.
Thank you, Serena, and thank you for filling in for Charles today, where we are allowing him to be on vacation this week. Welcome, everybody. We'd like to begin with us reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, so if we can all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You got it there right at the end, Serena. Thank you. I'd like to welcome our guests first before I begin our meeting and kind of talk us through how we're going to do today's meeting. First of all, welcome Bob Settles. He has visited us before, so it's really good to have you back with us, Bob. Welcome. I will give you an opportunity at the end of the meeting to say a few things. And I'm so very excited too to have Andrew Kokaitis, Distinguished Toastmaster, and Jeremy Udell, Distinguished Toastmasters, with us today, who will be helping us with our effective feedback theme. Both Andrew and Jeremy are members of advanced clubs. Andrew is president of Accelerated Pace Setters, and Jeremy Udell is the vice president of education for ACE, Advanced Toastmasters. And I'm going to give each one of them a chance to talk a little bit about their clubs at the end of the meeting, but I did want to let everybody know that they are part of advanced clubs, and I wanted to do that to just help educate everybody on why we have advanced clubs in Toastmasters. Our home clubs are really good at laying a foundation for us as speakers and leaders, but the advanced clubs are a great opportunity for us to actually hone our skills even more, especially in the area of evaluations. We get comprehensive feedback in those advanced clubs, and so they're especially valuable learning to polish your evaluation skills. So I'll let them kind of talk about that more at the end, but welcome both Jeremy and Andrew. So today's theme is effective feedback, and the reason why we're doing a whole meeting on evaluations is because this is such a critical skill, not just as a Toastmaster, but a critical skill in life. Think about it. Any type of relationship that we're in, whether it be a personal relationship or professional relationship, or maybe out in the community, to be able to listen well for understanding and also be able to give feedback to others in a helpful way can only help us improve those relationships. So this is a critical skill, not just to learn in our club, but to also be able to transfer out into life and help us improve any of our relationships. The skills that will be taught today are skills that we can apply in other situations. I'm so excited about this meeting. I want to start by throwing out a word for all of us to try and use today, not only today, but also maybe throughout the week. And it's a word that a friend of mine introduced to me in a text this week. And I'm like, what? I've never even heard of this word, but it's called whinging. And whinging means to complain persistently and in a peevish and irritating way. So as we learn how to become more effective evaluators, we understand that we are not whinging as we give feedback to people. We're not doing it in a complaining way, but we're providing feedback in a helpful way. So if somebody can help me just put that in the chat, it's whinging, whinging, whinging. It's a verb meaning to complain persistently and in a peevish and irritating way. This is something that we will try not to do today and throughout our week. A couple of functionaries who will be helping me with today's meeting is the counter, and filling in for Lori today is Monica. So please help me welcome Monica as she explains her duties to us.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen to overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen to filler words, filler sounds, including ah, I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times each speaker used these expressions, and I promise not to do whinging. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. And if you could also help me today by tracking anybody who uses the word whinging, you can start by putting your name down as you just used it. Thank you. And also helping me today have a productive meeting is our timer, Martha Quinones. Martha, if you can please share with us how you will be helping us. You're on mute, Martha.
Always I forget. I'm so sorry. My apologies. Greetings, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. As a timer, I will be timing table topics, formal speeches, and evaluators. I will also alert each speakers of the time that they have left using the green. See my green, you will see my yellow, and you will also see my red. For table topic speakers, I'm sorry, you have 1 minute. Then you will have, I'll raise the yellow card when you have 30 seconds. Then when you have 2 minutes, the green card will be up. When those given speeches and icebreakers for 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 5, I will raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, you will see my fantastic red card. Any other speakers who are going to speak between 5 and 7 minutes, I will raise my green card. At 5 minutes, at 6 minutes, you will get the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, you will get the red card. Individual evaluators have 2 minutes. With you, I'm a little bit easier. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you have the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will have the red card. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmasters, and let's have a great meeting.
Thank you, Martha. And I apologize. I should have reminded you that we will not have Toastmasters today, just to allow us more time to focus on evaluations. And Darlene, if you could help me just monitor the chat feature today, that would be awesome. Okay, Serena, you have a question?
Yes. The 3 evaluators, we're doing 4 minutes instead of the 2. Is that correct?
No, actually, yeah, and thank you for asking. I'm going to go through the format real quick right now so everybody understands. First of all, I wanted to tell you that we're having some kind of glitch with the agenda. And Andrea, I may have to ask you this week if you can help me figure this out, but I printed out the agenda and it doesn't show that we have a speaker, although it is showing on the agenda if you look at it online on our website. So there is a speaker there. Susan is our only speaker today. She has volunteered to brave having 3 different evaluations of her speech today. Kind of like when what we do at a contest, you have one speaker and then everybody evaluates that one speaker. So that's how we're doing it today. And each one, Serena, to answer your question, each evaluator will have the normal 2 to 3 minutes for their individual evaluation. But then Jeremy, who is serving as the general evaluator, will also lead us in how to evaluate each one of the evaluators and kind of evaluate the meeting. So we're just really going to provide feedback for everything we do today. So Jeremy actually has some extra time today to lead us through what it looks like to give a good general evaluation. Keeping in mind too, that because Toastmasters at 12 is a noon club, we have to get in and out in 1 hour. We really have limited time. So there's not a lot that we can expand on with the general evaluator on a typical format. Okay, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me introduce Susan, our esteemed president and our Area 90 director this year. Susan is going to be presenting a 5 to 7 minute speech, giving just a summary, a brief summary of 3 different ways that we can evaluate speeches. So it won't be in depth because she doesn't have a lot of time to go in depth, but she'll be giving an overview of 3 different techniques. And then each one of our evaluators will be evaluating her using one of those techniques. Susan is working on her second path in pathways. Her first path was presentation mastery, and now she's working through visionary communication. She is striving to eventually achieve her distinguished Toastmaster level. So please help me welcome at this time our president and area director, Susan Garrison.
I don't know why Debbie keeps asking me to do these things. I just don't understand it. You know, I'm a pretty good speaker and I've been successful in my career, and oh, am I whinging? I'm so very sorry. You know, when I was a leader, I depended on others who were strong and welcoming leaders to help me grow and learn. And that's what evaluation does. I remember one of my most interesting mentors was a guy from Tennessee. I've quoted him before. And he used to use these wonderful backwoods explanations of why someone should do something. And I think today, the quote that he left with me embodies the wholeness of what evaluation and feedback does for you. He said to me, if you want to lead the band, you have to be willing to face the music. And feedback and an evaluation process is how you learn to face the music. It's also how you learn to look inside yourself and find your best personal song. And so today, I'm going to review a couple of different ways to do that for formal evaluations, but they're also very good ways to develop your own song, your strong song, and your successful song. So of course, being who I am, starting with food is the very best way to draw my attention. So the very first evaluation that we will be considering is the sandwich evaluation. Now, you don't want to make your sandwich a Dagwood, but you do want to make it savory and important. So you begin with one really good, strong, positive comment about your speaker. And then inside, alternating cheeses and lettuces, you put in happy parts, fatty parts, parts for growth, and Finish it all off with a swath of sweet savory sauce and the bottom bun. That savage model, that sandwich model helps you develop the skill of a complete evaluation, but particularly for a new speaker, a soft evaluation that's savory. The second one is one I particularly like, and that's what did I hear, what did I see, and what did I feel? This is good for the new speaker too, because so many times when new speakers set up to speak, they know that they can't talk their way out of a paper bag, and they're scared to death. And they stand back and hold their head down, and they look at their paper over and over, and they pop up, and then they look back down. So what I saw, what I heard, and what I feel, that kind of evaluation is gentle, it's kind, and it's not overwhelming. It doesn't get down into the weeds. Oftentimes it doesn't use a lot of Toastmasters jargon. So it's a good model. It also builds confidence from the evaluator, and it makes a connection between the evaluator and the speaker, because you're talking from your point of view, what I saw, what I heard, and what I feel. And anytime you use I statements, they are supportive for your listener and makes the listener feel like you really care about what they're delivering. Now that see, feel, and hear model can be turned into a round robin. That's where several different evaluators address one portion of each evaluation. This can be a deep, comprehensive evaluation. It can go down into tiny little things, such as they popped their P's or popped their T's too hard. But most of the time, a round robin can get down into the see, feel, hear model, at the same time addressing some very serious issues of communication that your speaker may have, such as maybe playing with their hair. I've noticed a lot of people who come to Toastmasters spend a lot of time playing with their hair. I don't have a lot of hair to play with, so that wasn't a problem for me. But for those with long hair, I think that it is. So a third kind of evaluation is called the glove. And that is an interesting one. I spent a lot of time thinking about this one. There were some new words in there for me. The first letter of the word glove is G, and that stands for gestures and grounding in this evaluation model. Now, of course, I know about gestures. I was a teacher. I use them all the time. But of course, gestures can also be distracting. And so it's kind of important to understand that gestures should enhance, not deter. The second thing was the grounding, and that has to do with the space that you have to work in. Many times the speaker stays glued and they become robotic, or they hide behind the lectern. And of course, you know, that puts me at a major disadvantage because I can't see over the lectern. But the G stands for grounding or gestures. The L stands for the language you choose. I love that Toastmasters develops our vocabulary. It's such a strong way to enhance and enrich one's speaking. Not long and complicated words that don't have anything to add, but language that is fluent, comfortable, and extends the thinking. The O is for organization. Does the speaker have a beginning, a middle, and an end? As each part of the speech moves through, does it transition one part from the next? So organization is very important in our speaking. The V stands for your voice. Your voice. The tool of that song I was talking about. The variety that you can bring to it. Can you lift it? Can you bring it down? Can you make it serious? And can you make it joyful? What can you do with your voice? And for an advanced or even a beginning speaker, it can be the key to success. Open up that voice. And then, of course, the E is energy and enthusiasm and engagement. Do you look at that audience? Do you draw them into you? Then engagement is part of what it is that you want to bring. And eye contact is very important there. So glove. And then in final thoughts, all of this tied together builds for us a caring connection to a speaker. So when we evaluate, it's important to do well, but it's important to also let that speaker know You care about their success. And maybe you will help them find their song. And thank you very much. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Susan. That was so well done. I'm anxious to hear how our evaluators will provide feedback for you. I'm going to give just a minute for everybody to send Susan their thoughts, and that will give Serena some time to gather her thoughts as she's our first evaluator. So Martha, if you can give us 1 minute on the clock, that would be awesome. And this time, if you want to send Susan some remarks, that would be great. Okay, thank you, Martha. Okay, at this point, I am going to turn the meeting over to our general evaluator, Jeremy Udell. At Toastmasters meetings, when Jeremy gives a prepared speech, his favorite part is receiving his evaluation. It has helped him become a better, more polished speaker and has given him confidence to compete in contests and give public seminars and webinars. Today, Jeremy is happy to serve as both general evaluator and evaluator number 3, providing us with the sandwich method. Please help me welcome our reigning District 84 evaluation champion, distinguished Toastmaster, Jeremy Udell.
Thank you very much. Thank you, TM at 12, for having me today. I really appreciate the ability to come and be a part of your club. I've been here before, and you gave me the opportunity to grow my own skills leading into the evaluation contest. And I love being able to be here and lead this experience on evaluation, because we have 2 awesome evaluators, and then also I'm here as well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring. But before I bring them up, I actually want to just give you all a little preface to what you want to watch for during an evaluation, so that you can see where our evaluators brought those things in. As amazingly Susan expressed to us, there are so many ways to do evaluations. She set that up so well for us with her speech that we're now going to evaluate on evaluations with our evaluations, her speech on evaluations. So it should be very interesting. And each one of us is going to exhibit one of those methods. And Serena is going to start by doing that see, hear, feel. And Andrew is going to give us that glove. And I'm going to finish with the sandwich. You're going to get all those delicious ways of expressing an evaluation. But what else should you be looking for? Well, did the evaluator find some really great places where the speaker excelled to call out and show to the speaker, to give them that motivation that, wow, you're really great, you're on the right track, and everything I'm seeing shows that you're already progressing through your Toastmasters journey? But are there also some places where we found some ideas that might help them with this specific message, or perhaps with a more generalized idea of what they're doing and what we're seeing with them, that they could focus on for the future as ways to even grow beyond where they are now. Someone like Susan is clearly already a great speaker. And that's the great thing about an evaluation, is that we get the opportunity to watch someone like Susan, who gets up and is so fun to watch, but still think through, if it were me, what might I have done a little differently? Not that what anything Susan did was right or wrong, but maybe there are just some wrinkles that might have been more interesting to me. Maybe there was a part to me that wasn't quite clear. What was it about a great speaker that can still find a way to enhance a message, change a message, adapt a message, so that more of the audience really gets it? And each evaluator is going to bring that to the table. With that, I am going to go ahead and bring up our first victim, so to speak, but not really. Serena is amazing, and I have seen her evaluate before. She really delivers a great message. And representing the C here and field today, please give a big round of applause for Serena Piper.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Susan, you described my evaluation method, the See, Hear, Feel, as kind, gentle, and not overwhelming. How did you know that is my exact personality? As I saw you and you walked into the camera line, I immediately felt in character with you. You started off with that humorous whinging, complaining about, oh, why does Debbie ask me to do this? And it just pulled me in right away, instead of a typical evaluation that starts off as, well, today I'm going to be talking about, or, that kind of thing. I was able to clearly visualize the sandwich method that you talked about, because you had such descriptive language and you talked about the savory sauce, and it just really made me understand the sandwich method better. And as far as your eye contact, while I did see you have great eye contact with the screen in front of you, I didn't necessarily feel that for the people in the room. There was one moment where you did stare right directly at me, but that was the only time that I noticed you made contact with us in the room. So I felt kind of like a ghost. Your speech was very organized, and I appreciated that you laid out the 3 different points with their sub-notes underneath. It was just easy to follow, and I have to say you have a very pleasing speaking tone. I think that is a gift that a lot of speakers practice, and you have excelled at that. It almost feels like a visual pudding in my brain, if that makes sense. When you're talking, I can hear that you are taking a breath. And I think this is something that a lot of us don't even realize when we're talking, but you'll stop and then you'll go. And then I can it stops me for a minute because I can hear that. Overall, I did feel very engaged with your speech. And I have to say, I wish I heard this speech when I first started Toastmasters. I think if you were to record this and post the video on social media, like for Toastmasters or even for our website, and then we encourage new members to watch it, that is really going to help them on their journey in Toastmasters, because we'll understand what an evaluation is. What are you supposed to be doing? What's the goal? And actually, it would have helped me when I was preparing for the evaluation contest. So I really encourage you to do that and be a cheerleader or a goal marker for those who are just joining Toastmasters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very kind, gentle, and certainly not overwhelming, I don't think anyway, but that was lovely. And thank you very much for being first, which is always an interesting place to be, especially when you don't get that table topics break to take a little more time to organize your thoughts. Great job, Serena. Our second evaluator today was kind enough to share a little bit about his evaluation style into the chat for anyone who's interested. If you want to know about the glove style, then you can pull that right up. But Andrew is an awesome evaluator. He delivers amazing analysis. And the good news is that the style he's going to use today allows for that analytical style to really flow down to you. And it's just going to fit like a, what would we say? Well, whatever it is, I'm sure Andrew will let us know. Please help me welcome our second evaluator, Andrew Kokaitis.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. It's good to see you again. Good welcome all Toastmasters, visitors, and guests. I've been asked to use the glove method. This was new to me. I've never seen this method, but I use a similar method myself with a line and different sides. So I was kind of familiar with it a little bit. I've put the glove method that was sent to me in the chat so you can take a look at it and hopefully use it. I think it's a great method. So I'm going to start with the first part with the gestures, which I found a lot of positive gestures that Susan did during the speech. What I really liked about the gestures that they were purposeful in movement. When she talked about going somewhere, she came across the screen. When she talked about the sandwich, the dagwood, she used big sandwich, and they were just added to really enhance the speech. And that's what gestures should be. They shouldn't be just kind of like talking, going like that, because it's not necessary. You want to add and enhance your speech and carry the speech through. We see with our eyes sometimes a little bit better than our ears, and that helps us. Well, we see with our eyes. Of course, we see with our eyes. We interpret the speech a little better with our eyes, sometimes more than what we hear. That helps the speaker or the listener understand. I really liked her language. I particularly liked when she got into the sandwich method. I am hungry right now. I'm having a sandwich as soon as we're done with this meeting. As soon as I'm done speaking, I'm actually going to order an Uber Eats. So be here when the meeting ends. And I loved how she decided the dagwood, savory. She used words that went along with sandwich at that time to help make it. It connected with me, and that's what's important in an audience is connect with, or a speech, connect with your audience. One thing that I think we could work on, it was mentioned earlier, was your eye contact. Now, as a viewer on a screen, I think you're always kind of looking down. You weren't really connecting with me on the screen. And I thought your eye contact for the audience was better, but then she said the audience wasn't that good. So let's think about one way you can improve that. What I like to do is, in this situation, maybe for you, is beforehand, take a look at what the screen would see and then mark it on the wall or give up something in front of you that you know you have to look at so that you're seeing. When you look at the camera, you usually can't see the screen. Sometimes I even like to cover up the screen so I can't see the people, so I see their gestures. So you want to make sure you mark it or some kind of, I don't know what the wall behind you is, but maybe you can look at something on the wall and say, that's where I need to look every now and then to make sure that I'm looking at in through the camera, because you were always looking down, not right at me. That's an easy fix. Getting back to things I liked in the language and the organization, we talked about the language organization, well structured. I felt it flowed really nicely. I had 1, 2, and 3, understood where you were at all times. Really good. Your vocal variety was wonderful. Your pitch, even before you got to the part about pitch, which I think is a little bit cheaty. You can't have good pitch in an area where you're talking about pitch because, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But before you got there, you did wonderful for it. I heard up and down and great vocal variety and enthusiasm. That's one of the things I like the most about this speech. You were very enthusiastic and it felt exciting to me to hear all these different methods. Great job, and I can't wait to see you speak again. Thank you.
Whew. Wow, that glove was perfect. There were all of the fingers in there, and it is hard to get all 5 fingers into that very tight glove in 3.5 minutes. Well done, Andrew, and thank you for illustrating all of the elements that need to go in when you are trying to develop and deliver that glove evaluation for a speaker in that amount of time. Finally, I will be taking over briefly as evaluator 3, and you'll notice when I do that, Ms. Timer, in a very specific place, I think. But today I will be delivering the sandwich method, which is the baseline evaluation that Toastmasters has recommended for years and that human resources units use for how do I tell someone they're doing a really crummy job somewhere while letting them know I don't hate them. Well, I'm going to tell them something nice. I'm going to give them a little bit of ideas of how badly they're doing over here. And then I'm going to remind them that they're still really great. That's what I'm going to be doing my best to do for Susan here in a place where Susan is already really great. I thought I was the only member of Debbie's dream team who she called on regularly. Yet now we know that Susan is a very valid member of that team as well. And I enjoyed watching her step up and support Debbie with an amazing delivery of the different tactics for evaluation. And it is not easy to fit all of that information into a 5 to 7 minute speech. Yet Susan managed to do it. Those are 3 very distinct methods on how to evaluate, yet she managed to give us all of that data and get off the stage in a very timely manner. Very impressive that you could organize that message, get it all done, give us so much to see as you were moving around. And I thought that was right off the bat. The organization to get it all into the speech was fantastic. And as several evaluators have already called out, those gestures were amazing. Not just that sandwich, which obviously the sandwich part was fantastic. You had a lot of great stuff going on in there, but also the see, hear, and feel. I really got that. And your vocal variety went with that see, hear, and feel. It was gentle and it was kind. And you made it clear, not just with your words and your gestures, but with your voice, that you really cared about that. Then you got to that glove, and oh, that glove, there is so much to remember in that glove. It was the one part I thought of the speech, and I knew it was going to be hard because that big glove really wants to push the rest of the stuff out of the way with all the stuff going on in there. It'd be one thing if it was just 5 things, but right off the bat, you've got both gestures and grounding to remember on that very first G. It's not even one thing, it's 2 right there. And a lot of these letters incorporate multiple things. That's a lot to do. That's certainly by itself a 5 to 7 minute speech. I think you would have really benefited from a visual aid there, either a specific thing you could hold up, or even to share the screen, or even just as Andrew did say, you can check your chat and bring it up. You can see what the glove means. It's the 5 things that I'm going to talk about very briefly, but I don't expect you to remember them. I've actually provided them to you. So don't worry too much about the specifics as much as the idea that this is a great framework with all of these things. And if you learn that glove, you will have all the elements down that you could possibly think of to add into a speech. But overall, you are a rock star, and moving around up there, you are a visual feast as you move back and forth. And I really enjoyed it when you talked about the grounding, especially, and you went back and you showed us the grounding as you moved around and moved forward into a glued position. Wow, that really illustrated the difference between someone who stands in the middle and someone who can use that entire stage. Great use of the stage, your body, your voice. You are a great speaker, and thank you so much for doing my job of teaching evaluations. Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you very much, Mr. Jeremy Udell, who delivered some kind of sandwich. I hope it wasn't too hard to swallow for everyone. I really appreciate the time that all of our evaluators gave today. And now I'd like to call on our timer for some timer reports. How did our evaluators and our speaker do on their timing today?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Very, very well. I was impressed. You would think that they had their own watch in front of them. Other than 2, 3, 4 seconds over, perfect match on each evaluation, on each speaker. Susan, you were 702. Perfect match. I'm saying really seconds over. Fantastic job. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Very little in the way of whinging too long, everybody. Everyone did a great job of staying on time, and I snuck it in before I called on Monica to give us the counter report so far on where we are before I get into a more general evaluation and evaluating the evaluators.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. It was really hard to pay attention to ums and ums when we had so many interesting people talking. It was all so amazing. So I didn't catch anything. I thought everybody was perfect. And I'm really inspired, by the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. Now we're going to do a little bit of a round robin, and I believe it's the only evaluator to evaluator. Is that correct, Debbie? What you wanted here is to give each evaluator a chance to evaluate each evaluator if they wanted to, or not really if they wanted to. You are specifically asked to. And I, as opposed to putting Serena right back on the spot as the first evaluator, I am going to let Andrew evaluate the other two evaluators here as he feels best right now, and he does not have to use the glove method for this part if he does not wish to.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I thought that both evaluators, I learned a lot from both evaluators. That's one of the things I love about Toastmasters, the evaluations. Just listening to evaluators, you grow as an evaluator and you think about it and you say, oh, did I miss that? Or should I have mentioned that? But you don't have to, because it's everybody's perspective is unique to them. So you might find something that you like, or you want to improve on that somebody else might not. But what's nice about by listening to it, you do that. And I heard both of you give both sides, both positive stuff and things that need of improvement. And those things should be uplifting when you want to uplift somebody about needing improvement. You don't want to attack somebody and bring them down. You want to do it. They will change slowly, but they will change. We've all seen that, as long as it's positive. And that's probably what I like about these evaluations. So many times we just talk about the positive things in the speech, and we don't give specific things that need improvement. We always have to give at least one thing that needs improvement, but do it in a gentle, caring way, like caring, what was the word I like? Caring, compassionate. What was that? Caring connection. You want to do that caring connection, build them up, and you're going to be a great evaluator. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Andrew. And Serena, what were your thoughts on the other two evaluators today?
There are several things I admire about both of you and your evaluations. Andrew, I was reminded that you don't always really need to use notes when you are giving an evaluation. I use that because it's just a reminder to me, because I feel like there's so much information I want to give somebody at one point that it's just going to go right out the head. But Andrew, I like that you don't really, I didn't at least notice you looking down and referring to notes. It seemed like it was all just gathered in your head. And I really admire that. And I think it's something I would like to practice. Jeremy, your evaluation was very thorough as well. And something I admire about you is your high level of energy and enthusiasm and your animated expressions. You kind of remind me of somebody who would be on like a Nickelodeon show for kids, which is good because it's entertaining and engaging for not just kids, but it's for us Toastmasters who don't always want to sit in this little professional environment and be, strict, I guess. We want to have fun at the same time. So I appreciate that you bring that casualness to your evaluation.
Thank you very much, Serena. And, personally, it just moves me to know that my impression that I always want to give, that I'm basically Kermit the Frog up here, is kind of working on everyone, that's being conveyed. And I appreciate that. With my evaluation of the evaluators, I, again, was really impressed that both of you found the ability to find something I thought was very fair to call out for Susan when it came to different ways of eye contacting, very specific on that, and that you came up with some very specific feedback in certain areas. The more specific you can be, not just on something to do, but on a very specific point in a message that someone could have made pop a little more or wasn't quite clear. And I thought you both really did that well today. Serena, especially for you, the analogies you use are just beautiful, where you felt kind of like a ghost, and the visual pudding, that to me, like, wow, I was like, this is incredible. And meanwhile, Andrew, dealing with that glove and trying to fit it all into that 5 minutes is hard enough, but adding in some interest for us on how hungry you were with the sandwich was lovely. And I love the humor there with calling Uber Eats because of the sandwich you now wanted, because of the delicious sandwich that we watched Susan make with that sweet sauce on the bottom. I kind of want that too. That sounds amazing. I will say that I would have liked to have heard a little more in the way of specifics. For specifically, Serena, I would have liked on the feel section to have heard what specific parts of the message made you feel something. Were you hungry? I thought that she set you right up for, how did I feel? Hungry, really hungry. I was hoping you would deliver that. I'm ravenous now after that delicious sandwich. But I also would have liked to know, did you feel moved by this, by the see, hear, feel, and that it put you into an emotional space where you felt you could deliver that well. Vision, and for C, I really wanted to see you give a little bit more of her specific movements for the C part, because she did move around a lot. And I always like a good evaluation that calls some of that back and maybe shows where she could have added more, or maybe where it was too much. Andrew, wow, again, so much to try and get done. But again, because of that, it came out a little rushed. But I'm not going to ding you for that, because I know this was your first time trying to deliver a glove. And bluntly, my quibble with the glove is not you trying to deliver it. I always feel like the glove is more of a good framework for how to write down your notes for an evaluation. And then you still go back to either see, hear, and feel, or the sandwich, whichever one you like better. I would feel like glove is more of just, these are the things to remember to look for in evaluation. Trying to deliver all of those things in 3 to 5 minutes is really hard. But I thought you did a pretty good job considering all of that. That is my evaluation of the evaluators. Thank you to everybody who did an amazing job. Do you want me to do a quick evaluation of the meeting? I only have a couple notes here.
Yes, we have time.
Okay. You guys started on time. The hybrid meeting looks great. Charlie, whatever you're doing, the computer guy over there, I really like that view of the room. That's a really impressive ability for people who want to see what's really going on in there. I think that's great. And we stayed on time all the way through. It seems like through the functionaries at the very least. Very good job, Debbie, and just an excellent job of all of you being here in person. I'm really impressed by everything I see from this club, just being ready to go right at 12 when we need to be out of here in about 12 more minutes. Thank you very much, Ms. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'm going to hand it over to you in a minute, Susan. But Jeremy and Andrew and Serena, thank you all very much for volunteering to accepting my invitation to be evaluators today. I would not have asked any of you if I didn't think that you weren't awesome evaluators, and all of you did an amazing job. I would like to give Andrew and Jeremy each just a quick minute to talk about your advanced clubs, to fill us in a little bit more on the specifics, maybe the time that you meet, et cetera, and anything you want to say about your clubs before we move into announcements and talking about next week's agenda. Andrew, why don't you go first?
Thank you, Debbie. And I wanted to mention our advanced club, Accelerated Pace Setters. We meet on the second Saturday every month. We usually meet at a restaurant before COVID, but now we're not. We're going to try to go back to a hybrid, not as fancy as this hybrid, because I can't afford a $1,000 system like you guys have. I looked at that and it was a really great system, but we're going to do something similar, but we'll let you know. I put a flyer in the chat. What we do is we do evaluations. speeches and evaluations. That's it. We don't do any of the other stuff. Just focus on speeches and evaluations. And we get 3 evaluators for every speech. We have a little bit different method, but it's really helpful and really productive. Also, if you want to be an area leader, district leader, any type of leader, most of our members are former area district leaders. We have lots of really great as we try to help you to grow as a leader, as an informal mentoring, and as a speaker. So come visit us. Right now we're virtual. Zoom links in the flyer. Love to see you on the 2nd Saturday of the month. Once a month, that's all we meet. Very easy to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And Andrew brought up a good point. In the advanced clubs, there are a lot of those district and former district leaders. So there's a lot of knowledge and experience in these clubs. I know last year when I served as area director, I gained so much from being in both Andrew's club and Jeremy's club. Jeremy, why don't you share just a little bit about ACE?
Rise up. That is our theme this year at ACE. We believe the rising tide raises all ships. And the members at ACE Advanced Toastmasters want to help all of our members raise their game as much as they want to float. That is what we're trying to do. And at ACE, you will have past District 84 champions. You will have at least one member in our club has been to the finals in all 4 major contests: humorous speech, international speech, table topics, and evaluation. We've had finalists at the district level on all 4 of those contests. So if you're interested in any of those contests, there is at least one mentor at our club who can help you succeed. We do have DTMs abounding through our club. We have some amazing evaluations. And I would say, being somebody who cares deeply about evaluations, I think our clubs provide some of the best evaluation in the district, because not only do you get your one evaluation Toastmaster style, but then we do a round robin evaluation at every speech. We're going to go around the room and we're going to find places where you can grow. If you're coming to ACE, it's because you're already advanced and you know that you're good. When we get to that round robin evaluation, everyone is going to be doing their best to find places where we can make your message that's already really good better. Let's really make that message pop. If you want to ace a contest, ace a presentation, then ACE is the place for you. Thank you very much, Debbie.
Thank you, Jeremy. And Jeremy and Andrew both said something that I wanted to point out, that it's interesting how we define advanced. That can be very intimidating for some people. And it really shouldn't be, because the advanced clubs are, like I said earlier, the home clubs are there to lay the foundation. The advanced clubs are there to build upon it. So advanced doesn't mean that any of these members are better than anybody else. It's just that they're farther along in their Toastmasters journey. For one, you need to be at least through 2 pathways. So if you haven't done that yet, that's a really good goal if you want to go into an advanced club, to try and get that second pathway in Pathways, or a competent communicator if you were part of that program before Pathways.
But anybody's welcome to attend.
Yes, anybody is welcome to attend. Thank you, Andrew. So you can't deliver a speech if you're not a member, but you can always be a guest and just observe and learn and absorb what they do in these clubs. So again, Andrew's Accelerated Pace Setters meets on Saturdays, the second Saturday of the month, just once a month, and ACE meets 2 times a month, the first and third Monday in the evenings at 6 o'clock. So they're both different times, different days. So whatever works best for whoever. Okay, thank you. And let me go through our agenda real quick for next week. And actually, before I do that, I wanted to say, Charlie, I always forget to just acknowledge how much you do for us and helping us with the hybrid format. And I know this week and last week, there was a lot of different things going on especially with me being out the last week and this week, and having to really lean on you to help us with the technology. I really appreciate that. Evelyn is usually there, but she has a lot of people out sick today, so she couldn't join us. So just kind of weird times, and we really appreciate how you continue to support us, Charlie, at Career Source.
Glad to do it.
Next week, we have a guest speaker, everybody, and he confirmed that he will be with us next week. He is a distinguished Toastmaster who is also one of, I think he came in, do you guys remember Jordan, where he placed in the contest? He placed, I think he won or came in second with the international contest at district. So we're up for a treat next week to hear him speak. And we also have Tom scheduled to speak next week as well. We have the Smedley incentive started August 1st. Can you all believe we're already into August? So August means August and September is when we begin our first focus on membership of this new year. And so Serena is going to be talking more about that this month and next month. The officers have talked about a few things, and we need to really kind of formalize and finalize what our focus will be with membership the next 2 weeks. But I bring this up because every one of us has a responsibility to keep our membership at a healthy number of 20. And so I know we're going to have some challenges again this year. We've had 6 of our members go through job changes of some sort, and that always affects Toastmasters at 12 because we are a noontime club. So be thinking about who you can invite to our meetings and as guests as we continue to work on our membership moving forward. And let's see. Oh, the last thing, and sorry, Susan, I'm kind of just doing the announcements for you because I didn't have time to convey. I started to text you and then the meeting started. So anyway, I just want to let everybody know too, we have a new mask mandate at Career Source. They're going back to if you come in person, you do not need to wear a mask, whatever you choose within the boardroom. But anytime you're outside of that boardroom, you need to have a mask on. That's all I have to say. So let me go through next week's agenda. I'm still working on Toastmaster. I have Susan down, but I really want to give her a break. So I'm hoping Evelyn can switch and do Toastmaster next week, but I will work on that. I have Angel down as Pledge and Inspiration, Lori as our grammarian word master. Ricardo, are you still with Ricardo? Would you be willing to be all counter next week?
Yes, not a problem. I can be all counter next week.
Okay, thank you. It's so good to see you. I have Isis as timer. We have Tom as our first speaker, and then we have Jordan Kamenker as our second speaker. Serena, I have you down as, oh, I'm sorry. I have Martha down leading table topics. You won't be here next week, will you?
No, I'm trying
Okay.
to keep track between August and October and November.
Yeah, I'll give you a call later. Martha's one of those who just started a new job. Serena, I have you down as general evaluator next week. Okay. I have Baraka down as first evaluator. I'll touch base with her. I will tackle second evaluator. Does anybody want to step in and do table topics? Darlene, would you? Actually, do you want to do table topics or do you want to be an evaluator? We learned so much good stuff this week. Do you want to, whatever you want to do?
I'm good with either one. I'll do either role.
Okay, I'll put you down as table topics then, okay? Thank you. Okay, as a reminder, everybody look for the agenda tonight and then again Sunday night. That's the rhythm I'm trying to get into. So everybody gets a heads up tonight, and then Sunday will be the final agenda. So if you ever need to look in your email, you'll know which days to try and locate those agendas. Because I know for me, I cannot keep track of email. So at least you know what days to look on. Does anybody have anything else? Susan, I'm going to turn it over to you as our president. You have like 1 minute. Sorry, thank you for being our speaker today and being evaluated by so many people. I knew you have tough skin and could handle it though. Please help me welcome Susan real quick.
I would like to thank our club officers who took the time to be trained at TLI. It's important that we continue to keep our skills current because it is always changing. The technology has really changed. And I was, believe it or not, I had some butterflies today. It takes some guts to put yourself in front of such strong evaluators. So I appreciated the challenge and I discovered some things. I think I know why I do the breathing. I'm sure with Serena after it. And in conclusion, will you please join me in reciting the Toastmasters core values? Respect, integrity,
Service and excellence.
all of which help us rise. And the meeting is adjourned.
And no whinging this week, everybody. Thank you, everybody who used the word whinging. Have a great week. Thanks again, Andrew and Jeremy.
Thank you. Wonderful meeting.